Hey look, a jester, the colorful, lively figure who brought joy and laughter to the medieval courts. But seriously, what did they do? These jesters were more than just entertainers. They were essential to the court's daily life. Imagine wearing brightly colored clothes and a hat with bells. Their attire was designed to catch the eye and bring a smile to anyone who saw them. You juggle slightly rotten fruit while singing off-key. Their performances were a mix of comedy, music, and acrobatics, often involving props and improvisation. This, my friends, was the life of a medieval jester. They were always in the thick of the action, especially during feasts and celebrations. They were the original stand-up comedians, but with a royal audience. Their humor had to be sharp and quick-witted to keep the nobles entertained. Their job was to make the king laugh, even if the king's jokes were worse than the jester's. They had to navigate the fine line between humor and offense. But life as a jester wasn't all fun and games, though it was mostly fun and games. They had to be versatile performers, ready to entertain at a moment's notice. Jesters had a surprising amount of power. They were often the only ones who could speak freely to the king without fear of retribution. They could get away with saying things no one else dared to utter. Their unique position allowed them to influence the court subtly. Think of them like the original roasters, but instead of insulting a celebrity for 2 hours, they roasted the most powerful person in the kingdom. Their humor could be biting, but it was always wrapped in jest. And they did it all while wearing tights. Their flamboyant costumes were as much a part of their act as their jokes and tricks, making them unforgettable figures in history. Now you might think, being a jester sounds fun. Where do I sign up? Well, hold your horses, or I guess your jester hat. It wasn't all sunshine and roses. Being funny for a living is hard work, especially when your boss could have you beheaded for a bad pun. Jesters were more than just court clowns. They were confidants, advisors, and sometimes even therapists to their royal employers. They provided a much-needed dose of humor in a world that was often dark and dangerous. They were the original multitaskers, juggling jokes, political commentary, and the occasional lute solo. So how did jesters get away with criticizing the very people who could have them thrown in the dungeon? Well, they were masters of satire. They used humor to point out hypocrisy, expose corruption, and generally poke fun at the absurdity of life in the royal court. Think of it this way. If you tell someone a joke, they might laugh and forget about it. But if you make them think while they're laughing, you've got their attention. Jesters were experts at slipping in subtle and not-so-subtle messages about the political climate. They were like the Jon Stewarts of the Middle Ages, only with better hats. Section 4. That time a jester became king. Okay, not really, but it's a funny story. Okay, this one might be a bit of an exaggeration, but there are stories of jesters who were so trusted by their rulers that they wielded considerable influence. Take, for instance, Roland the Farter, jester to King Henry II. Yes, you read that right. His name was Roland the Farter. Now, while his talent might not have aged well, Roland was reportedly given a large estate by the king for his services. Was it because of his jokes? His farting abilities? We may never know, but it just goes to show that in the wacky world of medieval jesters, anything was possible. Jesters were more than just entertainers. They were confidants and advisors. They often had the ear of the king and could speak truths that others could not. Their humor and wit allowed them to navigate the treacherous waters of court politics. So, while Roland the Farter might seem like a joke to us now, he was a significant figure in his time, and who knows? Maybe in another life, he could have been king. After all, in the unpredictable world of medieval courts, stranger things have happened. So, the next time you hear a funny story, remember Roland the Farter and his unexpected rise to fame. Because in history, sometimes the most absurd tales are the ones that stick with us the longest. Section 5. From jesters to late-night hosts, the enduring legacy of funny. The art of making people laugh has been around for centuries, and it has evolved in fascinating ways. The tradition of the jester may have faded, but their legacy lives on. Today we have comedians, satirists, and entertainers who continue to bring joy and provoke thought. And yes, even late-night talk show hosts who carry the torch of humor as a tool for social commentary. They make us laugh, they make us think, and they challenge our perspectives on current events and societal norms. And sometimes they even make us question everything we thought we knew about the world. Through their wit and humor, they hold a mirror to society, reflecting both its virtues and its flaws. So, the next time you're watching your favorite comedian, whether it's a stand-up special or a late-night monologue, or enjoying a satirical news segment, take a moment to appreciate the rich history behind the laughter. Remember the jesters of old. These were the brave souls who dared to speak truth to power, often at great personal risk. They were the original comedic heroes, using humor to navigate the complexities of their time, juggling laughter and truth in a world that desperately needed both. Their performances were more than just entertainment. They were a form of social commentary, and they did it all while wearing tights. So the next time you laugh at a clever joke or a witty remark, remember that you're part of a long tradition of humor that stretches back through the ages.